I haven't convinced you yet not to date single dad. Maybe this story will, because it includes so many of the things that I warn women about. Stepmoms get screwed. In this case, it is unbelievably tragic story. It's an extreme example, but nothing else. Let's take the lesson from this woman's tragedy. I first saw this from this tweet right here. Gabrielle Perry, one of my favorite people to follow on Twitter. I will never not call it that, because this story came out. This dude won the Republican primary, while in jail. This dude. The story gets worse and worse the more I looked into it. The best account I saw was in the Daily Beast, and as most of y'all know, I've written for them a lot, and I love the Daily Beast. This is the title. Like I said, all the elements are in this case. Single dad. She becomes a stepmom. Then they have 2 kids together, and then she gets breast cancer. So Elizabeth Nikki Wilhoit, I think is how you say it. She just wanted a fresh start. She'd been diagnosed with breast cancer, and at 42, she just completed her last round of chemotherapy. So she was a mother of 2 of her own children and a stepmother to one of this dude. Also documented this whole journey on Facebook. Look at this beautiful woman. Look at that smile. Look at the light in her face. You know, like she seems like someone dealing with breast cancer. I think that would be enough. But no, because guess what? This man decided to having an affair while she had breast cancer was a good course of action. So, like I tell you all the time, when women get sick, men either divorce them or this. Usually, women are 6 times more likely to be left when they have a terminal illness or whatever. And like I also say, this man probably gave her that. You know, being inflamed and stressed all the time by a man makes us sick. I wish there was a way to trace back the root causes of autoimmune diseases, cancers, and a lot of the stuff that women die from. But I will tell you this, every time I hear that a woman dies before her husband or is battling cancer, I'm going to assume it's his fault. At this point, I'm going to assume it's his fault until proven otherwise. Because these men, we already know that men do not add much value to our lives, which is why we're not marrying them anymore. And only if they make our lives easier instead of harder, which is what most of them do. Is it even worth giving them our time, our energy, our love, our bodies, and all this other stuff? Marriage and just dating men in general is a net negative for women. I can't look at him anymore. I'd rather look at her. Not only was she raising his kid, there's no telling why they were divorced. Surprised his first wife is alive. I mean, I don't even know if she is. I was really hard to find information on this couple. Honestly, I fell into a very long, deep dive, and actually I have a lot of shame about that because I have a lot of stuff to do. And then I broke down and cried because I realized it's my dad's death anniversary. And I really didn't want to make another video, but I have to work. And I thought, well, maybe this will talking about domestic violence will somehow make me feel better. I don't know where my logic is. Anyway, toot toot, let's try to get through this. Oh God, I think my sense of humor is literally gets me through everything. I'm like, I'll just laugh. I did cry. I needed to cry. Anywho, they'll make you sick. They'll make you raise their kids. They'll make you pay for these kids' college and everything that they need. And you all this stuff. And then when you get sick, what do? They either leave you, cheat on you, or unalive you, which is what happened to her. A combination of a few, which is what happened to her. The way that some of the people were like, she's such a strong woman. Imagine what it took for her to go on Facebook, talk about her cancer experience, chemo, and all that includes, which you losing your hair. I'm guessing maybe she had a mastectomy or whatever it's called. I don't even know, but cancer, traumatizing experience. And then you have a terrible husband who is making your life miserable. And then you're literally openly battling cancer online while secretly battling your husband. Can you imagine how alone this woman felt? Because her friends, a lot of them didn't seem to know. Because even though she was almost done beating cancer, she then found out that her husband was cheating. She was raising livestock in rural Indiana, and he's out having an affair. I love that she was like, no. I mean, as soon as she battles cancer, gets another chance at life. I've lost I've lost friends to cancer, undiagnosed breast cancer, younger than her. So she has this traumatizing experience, gets through it, and finds out that this piece of crap, whose kids she raised in addition to her own and probably did all the labor for, is just cheating on her. And so she's like, no. I'm so happy that she was like, no. Immediately got a lawyer. I mean, this probably isn't his first affair, but it seems like maybe it's the first one she found out about. Who knows? Who knows how long this has been going on? But I love that she was reactive like this. Same day, her husband took note of her health progression online. He posted, "I'm very proud of you," and all this crap. He probably literally did nothing. It was probably her friends and her family who were taking care of her. I don't believe men who post like, "My wife is la la la." Never believe these men. Seriously. I mean, men should be bragging about their wives. They should be all that stuff, but don't always assume that doesn't mean they're not beating them. On March 21st, during a particularly grueling fight about the affair, Elizabeth, her step divorce, prosecutors alleged that Andrew snapped. Stop saying this. They don't snap. This man was always capable of doing this. Maybe he even planned it. Who knows? It's not like these men just lose control. I need people to understand that. He can control himself at work. He can control himself in all other things. He's punished her. But he didn't snap. Even writing it like that implies an outside force made him do it, rather than him making a decision to do it. They say he hit his wife with a cement gallon-sized flower pot in the face before dumping her in a creek. Oh, and shocker, he did it because she attacked him. Did you see the photos of them? Did you see how big that man was? I don't know how tall he is, but he looks like he's, not just like a little skinny guy who could snap in half. Who do you think is the attacker in this scenario? Who do you think? Oh, and look, Mom, his mother, is the backbone of the country, of this county. As a member of a council member, I'll get to her in a little bit because, woo! But even look at this. What pushed him to lash out in such a way? What pushed him? I'm telling you, every time they talk about violence against women, violence against people of color, especially Black people, anything that trying to excuse the person, the active subject of that sentence, they make it passive. What pushed him rather than he unalived her? Seriously, once I started realizing that headlines always do this passive crap, especially when they're talking about violence against women and especially police brutality, especially against the Black community, it's always passive voice. It's always passive voice. And then we adopt this language. I catch myself doing it on here. I've done it. Y'all have seen me do it. I have to correct myself because I hate this. It's so upsetting to wonder if she had any idea she was in danger. Honestly, she probably knew. The thing is, we usually underestimate these men. Not always. Sometimes they literally say, he is going to unalive me, and no one believes them. But a lot of times, and this is what I got stuck in, I just thought I was always one step ahead. And in fact, he was always one step ahead. Always, every time I thought I had outsmarted him, he had done something. Because even though he's dumb as rocks, predators, in terms of survival skills and attacking, they're really smart. If they're dumb at everything else, they also pay close attention. I've told y'all before, my ex literally stole all 10 years of work. I had photos of all my travels, and my photos include I take photos of things around me to help me remember my stories when I do stories. 10 years stories, 10 years of photos, 10 years of memories. He stole all that right before I left New Mexico. Then I had to go back and trick him into giving them to me. I was devastated. And then he was always one step ahead. I didn't know he took naked photos of me and then he put that on Twitter as his profile. Always one step ahead. These men are always one step ahead of you. Do not underestimate them. The coworker did say that, indicate that she was having issues with her husband and had filed for divorce. So she was kind of talking about it. It seems like she wasn't really telling a lot of people in the community. And probably because they thought of her as a strong woman and a happy woman and a survivor of cancer. Little did they know, she was a survivor of domestic violence too. Crazy how she can openly talk about something unaliving her actively on Facebook, but can't talk about the man doing it in her house because we're not allowed to talk about that. And if we are, we pay a price if we do. It's not like her not to show up at work. She's a devoted mother. Fun. I swear to you, every time a woman is like strong and fun, I'm like, oh wow, it's not just me. Being strong, independent, feminist, funny, comedian, ha ha ha. These men go after women like that on purpose. In the time that I took a sip of water, he has rolled over. Like someone said the other day, like a rotisserie chicken. I know. This is our therapy dog for this hard topic. I mean, look at the way she says. Elizabeth's public battle with cancer came in marked contrast to a more opaque domestic life. She had a smile that would light up a room. You know how many times I've been told that? It's actually one of my favorite things about myself, is that my ability to walk into a room and just bring joy with me. And I'm so excited to see people, especially, well, not everybody, but especially people I like. I'm so excited. I genuinely like people. I wish I liked some people less. I would have experienced less terrible situations because I gave way too many benefits of the doubt. But I love this about myself. Reading this was really hard because I was like, yeah, can you imagine someone who lights up a room, battled cancer openly on Facebook, and then has this monster? And I hate saying that because I don't like to dehumanize these men, because they are human beings and they live among us. I don't want to other them, because more men are like this than we realize, but they act like monsters. She would always make you laugh with her story. Oh, God, she's a storyteller too. I didn't know they had problems. It's hard to know. A friend was most likely hurting and struggling with serious issues besides cancer, which is huge, and to not know. This is the other thing. This is the reason why we need to start talking about this more. I mean, I had a few people that kind of knew what was going on. No one knew how bad it was until the end. No one knew how bad it was. I wish I had told more people, because the thing is first of all, they can help you, hopefully, if you're ready to go. Not ready to go, well, they may not help you yet. But in addition to this tragedy of her dying and losing her life, now there's all these people who are going to wonder why she didn't tell them. And they're going to feel guilty they didn't help, guilty they didn't notice. The same way, maybe it's not the same. I've lost, my cousin to suicide. It's not the same, but in a similar vein of being like, I didn't know, maybe I could have stopped it, feeling guilty, angry, frustrated, feeling like a terrible family member or friend because you didn't know. It's similar here. Tell everyone. Tell everyone. These men want you to keep their secrets. That's what our grandmas did. Well, because they had no choice. They were hostages, most of them. When officers showed up at the house, they were greeted by three of Andrew, this awful man's children, one of whom was from a previous marriage. I could not find anything on his previous marriage. I really wish I could. I mean, I literally was searching all these Indiana newspapers. My ADHD brain went a little out of control. I would love to know what ended that marriage, what she would have to say about this. He probably cheated on her too. Perhaps this woman who died was the product of that affair. Who knows? That's what these men do. They cheat, and then they reel those women in, and they cheat on those women. Two of the children indicated that Elizabeth was not home and that they had been trying to contact her themselves. The stepdaughter added Elizabeth might be with her sister and that Elizabeth leaves when she gets upset. Boom. Pattern. He didn't just snap. He didn't just snap. It's escalating. It's getting worse, but this is who he's always been. He just hid it for a while and slowly stopped trying to hide it. As authorities were starting to leave the family farm, the affidavit says that he pulled up into the driveway in a blue tractor and indicated that his wife was missing. He stated they had a pretty good fight last night and she was drunk. Yeah, sure. Why would we believe anything this man says? He's probably drunk, but I seriously doubt she was. And even if she was, so what? As you can see, he said, pointing to scratch marks on his neck. Oh, yeah, okay. She was drunk and scratching you, or perhaps you were attacking her and those were defensive wounds. That's what that sounds like to me. Very rarely do women just scratch men for no reason. I recall something in the Gabby Petito case too. She's abusing me, scratch marks, right? Didn't that dude say the same thing? He said that she was laying in bed and she was flipping out. Andrew advised that it is not the first time that an incident like this has occurred. He stated that he's done things to Elizabeth that he shouldn't have before. Okay. Things. Okay. He said that he told her that she had slept on the couch the night before after a fight, and he did not see her the whole next morning, and he left to haul corn. He added that he had also just found out from his accountant that approximately $3,000 had been taken out of their bank account and he had been advised that Elizabeth had a lawyer and was filing for divorce. He went as far as to say that he believed maybe something, I forgot about this part. Look at this. She's an alcoholic. She's abusive. She's out there buying. He's literally telling this to the police. This is where these men are dumb as rocks. You really think they're going to believe a cancer survivor, mother of 3, is doing this, and she's missing? But the story began to unravel when they spoke to Elizabeth's father, who clarified that his daughter took out money from their bank on March 18 because she was going to have to divorce Andrew. Her father said he believed that he did something to her. Well, it's so unlikely for men to actually believe women. I'm actually surprised that even her dad was like siding with her. I mean, a good father should, but a lot of men would be like, no, he was great. I feel like I'm going to throw up, by the way. I'm like having pains in my stomach. This is like a very triggering story. I don't know why I looked into this today, my dad's death anniversary, but I fell in the rabbit hole, maybe as a distraction from pain. I can still do that. And I was like, oh my God. I always forget that there's like a consequence of talking about these stories. Anyway, we're getting through this. Let's pet the dog. Oh no, I don't want to wake him. Oh my God, he's sound asleep. During a search of the property, they discovered blood on the bed sheets and pillow of the master bedroom, along with small droplets on and around the door and inside the master bathroom on the sink. Okay. So then the dude confessed to having an affair that his wife recently found out about and that she had taken the news hard. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Just a sensitive woman. Imagine, yeah. She took it hard. Even the phrasing of that. I hate you. I hate you, Andrew. He added that while he thought the couple who had married in 2009 were going to work it out and had even planned going to counseling in May, his wife, there it is, blindsided him by hiring an attorney and handing him a legal notification of separation and requesting he sign. See, there we go. Literally, all the elements are in this story. They're in every story. Going to therapy. Therapy's not going to fix this. Cheating on, if a man cheated on me, period, I'm done. Cheated on me while having cancer and having raised his kid, plus our combined 2 in addition, and he'd done things to me before, and then I took the news hard, but then I blindside him. Any man that says he was blindsided by his wife's divorce, just assume that man is a married single mom at best, an abuser at worst, somewhere on that spectrum. If they have no idea and they're shocked, that means that this woman was telling him and telling him and telling him and telling him and maybe even screaming at him, please change, stop doing this. And they didn't, and Dad's at it. What happened? What do you mean you want a divorce? Seriously, if you ever date a man and he said he was blindsided by his divorce, break up immediately. Huge red flag. Huge red flag. He said he refused to sign the documents without having his own attorney review it. No, that's because he doesn't want the divorce. How dare this woman who has done all this for me, put up with me, how dare her think she can walk away? I'm telling you, these men think that their children and their wives are property. And just every woman they meet. They don't see us as humans. The night before Elizabeth went missing, the farmer said, I love that statement. The farmer said, sorry, Old McDonald's farm immediately. Now it's going on in my head. The couple spent about 3 hours in the garage fighting about the affair. 3 hours of fighting about an affair. I don't even believe that. I probably made that up. Eventually, the argument continued into their bedroom where Andrew told authorities that Elizabeth came at him in a combative manner and began hitting his back. Okay, even though I hate this term, we're going to talk about reactive abuse. I hate that term because surely they have a new term yet. Please tell me what it's called, because this is such a bad term. It's not reactive abuse. You're not abusing. Okay. But even this detail, I thought maybe I had been abusive whenever I look back on that relationship, because this man gaslit me and threatened violence and raped me and did, pin all the stuff that he did. And one time on his back, I was like, God, why won't you listen to me? It probably felt like a masseuse would do, right? And I was like, oh my God, I was the abuser. Again, Gabby Petito, like all these men. It literally wasn't until someone explained what reactive abuse is. You just snap finally. And the thing is they usually want this to happen in public. So you look like the crazy person. At best, the abuser is their goal. But honestly, it wasn't until I talked to other survivors and they're like, oh yeah, this happens all the time. I was like, oh, okay. Elizabeth was yelling at Andrew for having an affair and was emotionally upset with him. Andrew stated that he hit Elizabeth in the past. There we go. There we go. Now it's funny. After all that my ex did, I put up with a lot from him. But when the first time I actually tried to break up with him is because I found out he was cheating. Like I had proof of it. And I was like, I will put up with all this stuff. But this is cheating on me on top of that. Okay. Something about enduring all of that yourself is one thing. But if you know that he's also stepping out while doing that, I don't know. This is like frustrating. Not frustrating. It's scary how many of these details are very similar. He hit her in the past, but not during this particular altercation. How often does it happen, Andrew? Elizabeth left the room and went to sleep on the couch while Andrew went to sleep in the bed. Investigators said that while Wilson was at first insisted that nothing else happened that night, he eventually confessed to killing his wife hours into the... But it's probably self-defense, right? Because she began yelling at him about the affair and started physically striking him and telling him to leave the house. See, she made me do it. She made me unalive her. There's no bruises. It sounds like defense wounds, bro. He said he physically threw Elizabeth out the front of the door of the house before he picked up this pot that had dirt in it, a gallon-sized pot with dirt in it. You know how heavy that is? And struck her in the face. She fell to the ground, and Andrew stated he didn't know what to do. When he says he didn't know what to do, he didn't know what to do to get away with it. Everyone knows what to do if there's someone hurt that you don't want to die. You call 911, firefighter, whatever, people to come get her, take her to the hospital. What he meant is he didn't know how to get away with it. So he picked her up, placed her in his pickup truck, and threw her body in a nearby creek. The mother of his children, the woman of 12 years of marriage. Whoop! Can you imagine somebody... The investigators asked if his wife was still breathing when he threw her in the creek. He admitted he didn't know because he didn't check. That man wanted her to die, but he did not recall her groaning or moving at all. Got the job done. Okay, see, this is how they're dumb as rocks. Who just throws someone in a creek and doesn't think that anyone's ever going to find her? I'm so glad that they're this dumb sometimes. Just look at this. Threw her body over a wall. I was like, yeah, I think she's still there. You can go try to find her. Later that morning, he threw the broken pieces of the flower pot out of his truck window as he was traveling to Linden, Indiana to drop off corn shipments. This guy just went right back to work. Can you imagine just picking up corn after that? Sociopaths. Her last post on Facebook, you deserve a life that doesn't hurt. Now, this man won the GOP primary from jail. I'm not kidding. This man who threw his wife's body into a creek after unaliving her won a GOP primary. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but what the hell? Her Facebook page is still active. This is literally one of her posts. And this is clearly not about cancer. This is also one of her posts. Here's my Oscar for acting like everything's fine. I have literally said this before. I should get an Oscar for how well I was able to act like this while that nightmare was happening to me. So he was just convicted of a lesser charge. He didn't get convicted of nope. Voluntary manslaughter. Pled guilty. Voluntary manslaughter. So he faces 10 to 30 years in prison. So you know that he'll get out on like earlier than that, right? That is what one life is worth. Now, granted, this is a white woman, and we know how the justice system values white women the most. But after all this evidence, a confession, 10 years to 30 years. That means he'll probably serve 10 years. This man will date someone when he comes out, probably. This man right here. This is where he put her. Sorry, through her. This is also on her Facebook page. And I think photos like this are important because she looks happy. They look like a happy family. He looks like a happy dad. He was hitting her, at least. And again, probably gave her cancer. Now, back to his mom. The whole family has a history in local government. Andrew's mother, Marcia, was a council member. She'd been doing this for a while. She got her bachelor's degree in business from Notre Dame. Served several other roles as a public servant. 4-H. She's described as the backbone of Boone County Council. But she was found in her Lebanon swimming pool in the middle of the day. This is her. According to this paper, she had planned to retire after her term ended in 2024, but the last couple of years had been personally agonizing for her. She said the charges against her son weighed heavily on her, and she loved her daughter-in-law and was a devoted mother. So this woman, his mother, was found in a swimming pool. I looked it up. She's married. I tried so hard to find out about her husband. I don't know if I couldn't get into these. Even used a VPN. I don't know. But I will say it wouldn't surprise me if Daddy wasn't much different than Prince baby. Again, this is all I could find. I don't know. I can't find this. But they called it an accidental drowning. Okay. They called her quirky. She loved quilting and made baby blankets. She made up silly songs and silly dances around children. Maybe it was a way to relieve stress from accounting. Okay. Or stress from her son or her husband or something else going on. I don't know. All I know is that the owner of this farm, this man, was charged with some felony in 2017. So Daddy did something. Criminal confinement, I can't figure it out. But what I do know is that this doesn't come from nowhere. I don't know if it's in the family, it's the cycle of violence. I don't know if that mom spoiled the crap out of her son. I'm not blaming her son's actions on her, but I'm also saying that toxic boy moms birth the patriarchy and are foot soldiers for them and will be just like Brock Turner's mom, literally trying to do everything against victims to protect their little baby prince, king, blah. Or maybe her husband was abusive and he learned that from Daddy. And then who knows? I don't even believe that this woman died in her pool, like accidental drowning. Who has a pool and has an accident? Well, how did she die? I haven't figured that out. All I'm saying is that this woman, this case, has all of the elements I talk about. And the reason why I won't let up is that all of this is so common. These single dads who usually lying about what happened in their first marriage, if not ending that marriage with an affair. So they have another woman lined up to parent the kids that they don't want to parent. They just want the legacy and they want to baby trap women. These men don't even like children. They have children so that they lock her in so she can't leave. She will less likely to leave these men even after they start hitting her if she has children because she's usually more dependent on them. And these men line this stuff up. They are calculated. They are violent. They are protected by patriarchy, their moms in government possibly, the law, and everything else. Please take every single red flag seriously and tell people what they want is for you to not have any choices to get out, for no one to know what's happening to you until it's too late, And a lot of times they're not going to unalive you until you decide to leave. They will hurt you. They will scare you. They will literally do everything but unalive you until you decide you're done. So whether they outright kill you with a flower pot or try to do it slowly through your nervous system, they will keep you alive until they have something else lined up. So please don't take dating men lightly. This is literally the most dangerous thing that women can do in their entire lives is date men, because all it takes is one. No benefits of the doubt, no being strong, no being nice. This is life and death.